Hölgyeim és uraim, nagy tisztelettel és szeretettel köszöntök mindenkit ezen a mai estén, mint házigazda, a Magyarországi Egyházak Ökumenikus Tanácsa főtitkáraként. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet you as the host, as the General Secretary of the Ecumenical Council of Churches in Hungary, here in this evening, and I would like to thank you for our guests who came, and I hope that we will have a nice event now in this council.
Your Excellency, in this case, because we have such high-ranking guests here, let me say it in the traditional form. 100 years ago in the Austro-Hungarian Empire would have mentioned höchstanwesendste, hochanwesende und hochgeschätzte Ehrengäste. Your Excellenz, Magnificence, Spectabilis, Herr Staatssekretär, Generals, Colonels, US State Kivanuk. I have to apologize, I'm going on in English because my Hungarian is bad, not because I haven't learned. I've learned 1,000 words, but all the years together with the Hungarians in Hungary, they spoke with me German or English, and I have learned that some of them have a much better German than me as a member of the country of Tyrol. But this evening I have the honor and the pleasure to say thank you. To say thank you to the Hungarian friends and to one Austrian, to say thank you on behalf of the Austrian Officers Society in Vienna. Why is it our obligation as the Officers Association in Vienna, our obligation as officers from Vienna to say thank you to Hungary? I think the most of you know that the Officers Association in Vienna 100 years ago, in the midst of the terror of World War I, of the super catastrophe of Europe 100 years ago, that the officers in Vienna, the Austro-Hungarian officers, would have been Bosnians, Ukrainians from Galicia, Croats, and of course Austrians or Hungarians, because the Austro-Hungarian regiments changed and every Austro-Hungarian regiment was at least a few years in Vienna. So we have the obligation from the officers in Vienna to say thank you to our old friends, and thank you what you have done all the centuries for us and what you have done in the last generation for us. The board of the Vienna Officers Association has a duty at Christmas. A duty at Christmas to say and to ask ourselves, whom do we have to say thank you for the last year? And overwhelmingly, we agree that the most obligations we have is to say thank you to the Hungarians. To say thank you for the Hungarians, what you have done for us, what you have done for our culture, what you have done for Central Europe, what you have done for Europe. I'm an officer of the Cold War by myself. I'm trained to fight Soviet divisions, and maybe we wouldn't have won. But among us, we have a freedom fighter of 56. The first final in the world, Hungarians said to show freedom is possible. Among you, we have all ranks of Hungarians working on the peace in Europe and making it possible to bring down the Berlin Wall, to open the Iron Curtain. We have to thank you, and not only we have to thank you, we all have to thank you, all in Central Europe, all in Europe, the whole world has to thank you. And even in minor catastrophes we had to face 1.5 years ago, defending the European borders at the Schengen border. The Hungarians hold the ground. They hold the ground for us, and they hold the ground for whole Europe. And that's the reason why our board of the Officers Association in Vienna said, well, we have to say thank you. And whom can we say thank you? Of course, all Hungarians. Thank you. But we have some special friends and some special outstanding, I would say, flagship examples, best practice examples of Hungarians showing the whole Europe and the whole world what is possible. So we decided, our board decided to say thank you and say thank you to representatives in the field of science, in the field of spiritual exchange, if you would say ecumenical exchange, in the field of security science, and to say thank you to our Austrian friends with the dissemination of industrial and technological science. So you all know, and it's nothing new, but we have to say thank you to be with you and to bring you not only the best greetings, but bring you the Knight's Cross of the Ehrenzeichen der Offiziersgesellschaft Wien, to a very special rector who is the head of a university. We have nothing similar in Austria, but it's a very good example. Austro-Hungarian example is an Hungarian example, but it's an example what is possible in our old culture, in our old Austro-Hungarian cultural region, the cultural empire, the empire of the spirit, what is possible. And we have to say thank you to the rector and Professor Schottony Peter, we would say Peter Schottony, if it is translated in German. He is the rector of a university which is the 5th ranking in the whole world. We have nothing similar in Austria or around of Austria instead of your university. And so we have thank you showing the spirit, the Austro-Hungarian spirit, the Hungarian spirit, the Central European spirit, what is possible in our old hemisphere, in our old culture. But not only this outstanding example of science, we have to say thank you to His Excellency, who is heading this very nice reception. We would say Vilmos, Fischl Vilmos, because it's a very hard work. It's a hard work making the spiritual exchange on the one hand, and the very realistic and pragmatic needs of the certain churches and of the souls you are serving in your churches and in the churches within your council. It's a very hard work, and it's a work which needs endurance, which needs very, I would say, round-the-clock work, and it's a work done very politely, very humble, very discreet, and very effective. And so we have to say thank you to His Excellency Vilmos Fischl for doing this spiritual work and very pragmatic work, very far-reaching and reaching all over the old hemisphere of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, including the Orthodox churches from Constantinople to Russia, till to the Anglican Church, and of course all existing churches, all existing existing Christian churches, to be exactly here in Central Europe. Very, very much thank you. But we have not only the outstanding scientists and the outstanding science management and the very outstanding management of spiritual and practical intellectual needs. We have outstanding examples of military science, and as Officers Association we have to thank you to, I would say, in the range of the possibility of being an outstanding military man. One thing is, and Staatssekretär Kodela, together with Landwehr, I hope I pronounce it correctly, Colonel Landwehr, as a freedom fighter in '56. That's outstanding from the spiritual approach, and it's outstanding from the bravery. We have no doubt that the spiritual approach and the bravery is still existing. The Hungarians showed it in a very smart, maybe wise way when opening the Iron Curtain in '89, and they showed it standing their ground, standing our ground 1.5 years ago, and they show it with the Science Directorate in the Honved Ministry, with my colleague Colonel Professor Besenyő János, who makes work reaching from Central Africa to the development of military sciences and military research in Hungary, which is essentially important for us in Austria, not only in Austria, not only because you are neighbors and you are friends and we are relying on you, but you are allies, not only allies 100 years ago in this catastrophic struggle of World War I, but you are allies in any field we have science or scientific competition. We are allies now in the defense research program of the European Defense Agency. We are allies in the coming up preparatory action on security and defense related program in the next framework program of the European Union. So we are in Austria and in Munich and in Berlin and wherever, we are relying on your work in Hungary. Well, we have a military university in Europe, in our region, having a rank 5 among the world, but that will be the next step, maybe the year after. But that's the reason why the board of the Austrian Officers Association said, yes, we have to say thank you. We have to say thank you to the Hungarians. We have to say thank you to the Hungarians working on outstanding science management. We have to say thank you on outstanding and very diplomatic work handling the church matters and the spiritual matters within the old cultural sphere of Austria-Hungary. We have to say thank you to the freedom fighters of '56. And we have to say thank you for the military science, to the outstanding military science made by the Science Directorate in the Honved Ministry. By the way, we have to say thank you, if you don't mind, at least, but not the least. We have to say thank you to the Journalist of the Year in Austria. It's Markus Leib. He made very valuable, I think the most valuable contribution to the dissemination of industrial and technological knowledge related to security and security research. A little bit, I would say, kind civilian counterpart to that what you, Colonel Professor Besenyő, are making in the military and try to disseminate this knowledge. And now my colleague, Colonel Professor Dr. Alble, he, by the way, is the head of the Professional Officers Association within our board, will make the official ceremony, and we have to ask first the rector Peter Schottony and His Excellency Vilmos Fischl. Please come here. And we have to say to everyone that the Austrian Officer Society in Vienna has to thank you and to, now it's functioning, the Knight's Cross of the Ehrenzeichen der Offiziersgesellschaft in Vienna. Please, for the world press, maybe. So, okay, now we can.
Vielen Dank.
Danke Ihnen. And the head of this very good functioning house and reception, His Excellency by the way, we know he is German, so his rank is SE, seine Exzellenz. Vielen herzlichen Dank. Thank you very much. Now we have the range of the military. Please, Colonel Professor Dr. Bessendieu. I hope I pronounce it correctly. I'm trying. And of course, for the military, please, my friend, on the left side, a Knight's Cross is on the left side. And please, I think, Herr Staatssekretär Kodela ist in Vertretung jahrelanger Kanzleramtsminister nach österreichischem Verständnis. Please be so kind and take it for our friends of the 56 freedom fighter. Well, and if you don't mind, please, our Austrian friend here in Budapest, the Journalist of the Year, Markus Richard Leb, das Ritterkreuz zum Ehrenzeichen der Offiziersgesellschaft Wien. Exzellenzen, Magnifizenzen, Professoren, Staatssekretäre, lassen Sie mich noch 2, 3 Worte in Deutsch sagen. Ich weiß, man kann Ungarn gar nicht genug danken. Wir als Offiziere Wiens wissen es, wir haben es nicht vergessen und wir hoffen, dass wir unseren Dank auch mit dieser kleinen Geste und mit den Ehrungen des Ritterkreuzes des Ehrenzeichens der Offiziersgesellschaft wenigstens in einer kleinen Form übermitteln durften. We, as Austrian officers, know that we all in Europe, in Austria and Austrian officers have to thank the Hungarians, and that this little gesture to award you with the Knight's Cross of the Honorary Medal of the Austrian Officer Society is a little, I would say, little sign for all of us, for Central Europe, for Europe, to say thank you what you have done in your work, in your field, and what the Hungarians have done for us. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Your Excellency, that you came here to Budapest and you gave these courses to us. And I would like to invite everybody for a little reception outside. Please feel free to talk to each other. Thank you very much.